Hello, I'm Taz and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to be recording the 4th episode in my save file series. If you haven't seen the other episodes, then I will give you a brief rundown of what we're doing. But basically I am rebuilding every single lot in every single world in the Sims 4 game. All the commercial lots, all the residential, absolutely everything. But I like to do building, don't like to do create a sim, know nothing about it. So I need you lot to build me, well not build, but create some Sims. Can be a family, can be a couple, can be a set of Sims, brothers, sisters, whatever you want. Give them a backstory and upload them to the gallery with the hashtag Tazkabaz save file. And basically every house that I build is going to be based around one of your Sim families and their backstory. Now, I suppose I should introduce you to our next Sim family that we're going to be moving into Willow Creek. But if you do enjoy the video, remember to give it a like, pop a comment down below and hit that subscribe button as well. Okay, so here we've got the Wright family and they are made up of Primrose Wright, Fred Wright, their grandson Tyler Evergreen, and their cat Periwinkle. And this family were created by Coco Pops 113 on the Sims 4 gallery. Now, so the story behind the Wrights is you have got Fred and Primrose who have been happily married but have recently retired from their successful career as doctors. And this is where the story kind of gets a little bit sad. So Fred and Primrose's daughter, Tyler's mother, got into a tragic car accident and was killed, which is super sad. But Fred and Primrose then got custody of Tyler and promised that they would take care of him and raise him. So a super emotional story for this one. A lot of the other ones have been quite uplifting and quite jolly, but this one is quite sad. So we are going to create them a gorgeous family home. And we also have to keep in mind that Primrose loves to read and loves to knit. Fred likes to do baking and gardening, and Tyler absolutely loves playing the piano. So we are going to make sure all of them, Tyler in particular, gets all of the love and all of the things that he wants. As he would still be in school, he would need a work desk as well, and different bits and bobs, toys to keep him company, things like that also. And we are going to be moving the Wright family into Garden Essence in Willow Creek. We moved the BFF family out of there, including Summer Holiday. They were living there currently, so I moved them out and moved the Wright family in. Now, as Primrose and Fred are retired doctors, they had extremely successful careers in the medical industry. We are going to give them a very hefty starting fund. So I'm going to give them enough money to not only build them a beautiful home that they can live in, but also I want them to have a decent starting amount as well for them living in the save file. And I also want them to have enough money for Tyler when he decides to move out when he gets old enough, so they can give him enough money to be comfortable with in his new home, and they can still have enough for them and everything that they need. Okay, so hello. I decided to do the recording of the voiceover a little bit different for this one. So let me know what you think about recording it with me in as a webcam as well, if you think it blocks some of the building or whatever. But usually the reason that I do just a voiceover and no webcam is because 9 times out of 10, when I build these lots, I look like I have makeup on and I feel happy about the way that I look. But when I'm editing them, I'm just like in my pajamas, I have no makeup on. And I'm not so keen about how I look. But if you do like the way that this is done and with me is as a webcam, as here, like describing what I'm doing in the build, then let me know and I can make it into a regular thing. I actually am still wearing pajamas down lower half of my body, but we won't talk about that. But for this build, we have got the Wright family. And they're moving into the bigger lot in this Willow Creek suburb. Now, the past 3 houses I've made have been quite small. I think they were 20 by 15 and I think 30 by 20 lots. So it's still very small and just small kind of cottagey homes. Whereas this one was on a 40 by 30 lot, I want to say. So quite a big project. But I am very happy with the end result. It was a bigger house to any others that I've created in the save file already. But I did like how it turned out. I think the story behind the whole Wright family and Tyler and his mum is really sad. It's a lot of realism as well, which is quite painful. But still a really good story, and I thought it was really cute that the grandparents took custody of him and will from now on be looking after him. Also, just a quick reminder, so I wanted to say, a couple of you had said in my previous videos about adding like an end scene showing interior of the build. So I did do that with this one, so you'll be able to see like all the rooms in first person mode. I don't really use first person mode because I found it kind of makes me a little bit dizzy going through the house in first person. But I have done it for this one, and let me know if you'd like me to keep it up. Also, in one of the videos, I can't remember if it was the first or second or third, because the third will be, it hasn't been posted yet, but it will be when this goes up. But someone said about adding trait lots to the houses. So, for example, in the Violet McCoy's house, where she is bringing in stray cats and dogs, to add the lot trait where it attracts stray cats and dogs. So I've gone back and added those. As well as that, I noticed that in some of the other houses, I didn't add outdoor lighting. So I did go back and I made sure to add those and update them as well. But moving back on into the Wright family. So the house is kind of now taken shape. I've added columns on the outside, windows and everything like that. I did give the family a 100,000 simoleon budget. So Primrose and Fred, you know, they lived their lives as extremely successful doctors, you know, going through the hospital career or the, you know, medical career, and have now got to the age of retirement where they just want to relax in their days and, you know, live with their grandson, doing the things that they love. So I did give them a sufficient amount of money. I probably could have even given them more, to be quite honest. But they do have a decent starting fund as well. So actually, when I deleted the lot, what was there already, it did add to the funds. I think it took their total amount to like 120k, I think. You'll have to watch the video. You'll have to keep an eye down below. But at the moment, we're on like 120 something, I think. So maybe it went up to more. I'm not full sure. But they did have a decent amount. And as I said earlier, I want them to have enough to, did I say it earlier or do I say it at the end? Can't remember. But I want them to have enough to live like financially, to be financially wealthy, to be comfortable. And when Tyler gets to teenage age, if people decide to live out the family and play the family, if Tyler gets to teenage age and he wants to move out or whatever, he can have that money from them. They will give him some money to be able to move out and not worry about money, you know. But yeah, so I planned out obviously the interior of the house. We did quite open plan downstairs with arches separating rooms, and then upstairs I made it a 2-bedroom and 2-bathroom house in total. So there was quite a big bathroom downstairs, and then it was an ensuite for Fred and Primrose upstairs. But I was quite happy with the house. I wanted obviously the kitchen to be quite large so Fred can do all of his baking and he can have a nice space to do that in. And then in the lounge living room area, we added a piano for Tyler. Sip of my tea. Obviously he likes learning the piano, so I added a piano in the lounge living room for him. Now in the outside, I added rocks to make little kind of flower beds, and you lot know what I'm like. I really do like my landscaping. So as much as obviously we've got limited funds in these save file episodes, I did want to I wanted to do a little bit of landscaping with some plants, bushes, rocks and terrain paint. Of course, I love my terrain paint. And then I added bits to the house as well. So like those, I don't know what they're called. You know those things on the roof? They're not chimneys, but they add to the roof. So I added them as well because they had the funds to do so. So I felt like I could go a little bit wild with the build. But moving back to the inside of the house, I added a knitting space for Primrose to do knitting, as well as a little reading nook as well, so she can read, which is actually, it is next to the piano. So she can read while Tyler plays the piano. And here in the kitchen, we have got a double oven. I don't know why I said double twice, but it makes sense. There's two of them. But a double oven. Why am I making this harder than it is? And yeah, so we did I did an accented stone background, like an accented stone wallpaper. And I think it looked quite cute in the end. Obviously, they are like, elderly. They would be elderly in The Sims 4, and their grandparents. So their style of their house is going to be different than something like I would decorate it. So I did want to capture that. And it kind of reminded me of well, not my grandparents, but my great aunt and uncle who live in England. They are pretty much like my grandparents. Like, they have been grandparents to me since I grew up, but they're not like my grandparents and my great aunt and uncle. They may as well be though. But the kind of style that I went for in this house reminded me of them a little bit. So I have a bit of a connection to this house. But I did really like how I decorated it in the end. And I wanted to add little bits of clutter. Of course, you lot know how I like my clutter. But obviously we can only do a certain amount. With the kitchen as well, you need to leave one counter free so that the Sims can actually prepare stuff on them. So I've got to remember that. Also, this reminds me, in another video, someone commented letting me know that if you have animals, so if you have pets, in particular dogs, the dogs need to be bathed. They need a bath. That obviously they cut. In real life, you can bring dogs in the shower with you, but in Sims, theoretically, they need a bath so that the Sims can actually bathe them and care for them. So in episode 2, I didn't actually put a bath in because I didn't really know. You lot know I don't really do gameplay. So I have gone back and tried to add a bath into episode 2's build, because if people are gonna, download the save file in the end whenever it finishes, I want the houses to actually be usable. I suppose this is a little bit of a con to me not doing gameplay. I don't realise certain things and like about gameplay and how they affect. So like how building will affect your gameplay. This is another reason why I'm not making these houses too cluttered, because if I was doing a build in my Twitch streams, I would go clutter central. You know me, would be having bits all over the floor, clutter over here, cups over here. But clutter in Sims does kind of affect the gameplay. So if I put like stacked plates or a load of cups in the kitchen, the Sim would just go and clean that up. Like, it's a bit pointless, isn't it? Because the Sim's just going to enter the house and then they're going to tidy that up. So there's kind of no point in me doing it. Like, yes, doing clutter is quite aesthetically pleasing in The Sims 4, but for a build for a save file where it's actually going to be usable, then it's probably not worth it. But here we are. The interior is kind of coming together. This is the little space for Tyler and his piano, and then Primrose for a little reading nook. And I really did love how it sort of came together. We got this little lounge living space as well. I didn't actually add a TV, and I've just realised there's no TV anywhere in this build. So, I mean, to be fair, not all houses are going to have TVs, right? This one doesn't have to have a TV. I know they've got their grandson and he's growing up. I probably could have added a TV in his bedroom, but I just didn't. I mean, it's not a big deal. They have lots of other ways to get entertainment. So they've got a swimming pool in the back garden, and Tyler has a laptop in his bedroom as well to do schoolwork. Obviously, he is a child in The Sims 4. He's gonna be going to school and maybe even university. Obviously, we don't know how the story is gonna pan out, but he would need a laptop. So I did include that, but there isn't a TV. I suppose it's not that big of a deal, right? I really did love how this bathroom came together. I was quite happy with how the bathroom looked. So I did like a walk-in shower. Now, I don't have a walk-in shower in my house, like in real life. We just have like, it's not like open like this. It's just a shower with a door, like, just a regular shower. But I would love, like in a future house, I would love to have a walk-in shower. Like, those luxury ones you see in those like big houses where they've got a walk-in shower. There's even like a seat in the shower. They have like those like where it's like rain falling down, like what are they called, like power showers, is that what they're called? Can't even remember. But I would love that in my future build. I also remember toilet paper there, if you didn't say it already. Also in this particular area of the house, this is like the hallway entryway, and I never really know what to put in these. So I normally would kind of do like umbrellas and a coat rack, but this one was huge, so filling the space for that was quite tricky, I'm not gonna lie. Also, at this point, I decided that I wanted to change the exterior and the paneling and how I decorated the exterior. So I went and I changed the colour of the paneling all around, and then I added accented bits with brick, and I think it worked so much better and looked 10 times better. And now we are moving on to the garden. Obviously for Fred, he loves to do his baking and he loves to do his gardening. So he's got a big, lovely kitchen space where he could do all of his baking, bake all his cakes, do whatever he wants to bake. And he's got a lovely, lovely big garden space where he can do all of his gardening. And there are 4 planters there as well. I also added the is it bees, I think, or the worms? No, the worms, I think. Don't really know what that is, but it could be quite interesting to see if one of them wanted to take that up as an activity. And there is a big pool as well for exercise for the family. So if Tyler wants to go swimming to get away from piano or his schoolwork, he can go in their back garden and he can go swimming. Or if he wants to invite friends round and as he gets older maybe have pool parties, he can do that right in his back garden. Obviously they are a wealthy family living in Willow Creek, so they can pretty much do whatever they want. I think they ended up with about 30,000 to start off with, so pretty comfy. Let me know if you think I should add more. Obviously I can go in back to the save file episode, like the save file builds that I've made, and edit their funds. So if you lot think that their starting fund after their build is finished should be a little bit more, let me know what you think and let me know what price range you think, because do bear in mind that they are retired doctors, so they're gonna have a decent amount. So I think maybe I should up it, but I'm not sure how much to. So we'll see about that. But here we now have the interior taking shape. We've added the ensuite area for Fred and Primrose, and their whole bedroom itself is coming together. We've got a vanity area to get ready and use the mirror to get ready and everything. Can Sims interact with that mirror in the vanity? You know, like they can do in normal mirrors where they can tell jokes and they can talk to the mirror, like, you know, how they do. Can they do that with the vanity mirrors? I'm not so sure. And this is Tyler's bedroom here. So I did a single bed, and he's got a little corner obviously for his desk where he can do his schoolwork and everything. And then he is a kid, so I did add a few toys, like a toy chest and a teddy, and a violin as well if he decides to take up the violin, as he does love the piano, so he might want to try another musical instrument. You just never know. But yeah, the build is kind of coming together. I added paintings around, and obviously I wanted to keep with the style of the build. So I did do posters in Tyler's bedroom, but in the hallways and downstairs in the house, I added kind of paintings I think would go in the house. I also remembered the cat Periwinkle or Wrinkle, whatever one, and added a cat tree and bed. And there is a cat bowl as well, I think, down in the kitchen. I also sometimes never know what to do in my hallways, like how to fill the space out. But with this one, I just added like a little seating area and a light, just to make it look homely and to add something into it. Again, not wanting to add too much clutter, because there's only so much clutter you can add in a house that is going to be used by the Sims. But I think it all came together really nicely, and I am super happy with it. And this is me touring through the build. So as someone requested to do like a first person tour mode where you lot can see what the build looks like inside, I did want to do that. So this is just us going through. So this is like the kitchen, space for obviously Fred to do his baking, and then through here we come into the dining area. We do have a space for them to do laundry as well in the kitchen, which is really good. And then leaning off to the dining room is the lounge living space where Tyler has his piano, and Primrose has a seating area for reading, for quiet reading, and a space as well for her to do her knitting also. And then we've got a bathroom. This is the downstairs bathroom with the walk-in shower, and it also has a bath. And coming on upstairs, we've got Fred's room. No, not Fred, Tyler's room. I'm getting mixed up with all the names now. Tyler's room, and then down the end of the hall is Fred and Primrose's bedroom. And here we've got the finished garden essence. Now, it literally looks like a totally different build. Since we knew that Fred and Primrose Wright were retired doctors and they were quite wealthy, I wanted to give them a big enough home for them to live out the rest of their life. I also made sure to include lots of bookshelves for Primrose to read, as she loves reading. I also included a knitting area with a cozy little comfy armchair and a desk place for her to do her knitting if she wants to. And we know Fred loves to bake and he loves to garden, so he's got a big gardening space in their back garden where he can do that and grow his vegetables or whatever he wants to do. And he also has a huge kitchen space as well with a double cooker oven set up where he can do all of his baking. And for their grandson Tyler, he's got a piano as he loves to play the piano, and he's also got a desk in his bedroom where he can do his schoolwork, also a violin if he wants to take part in other musical instruments and take up learning another musical instrument as well. As this house was a lot bigger than any safe file one so far, it did take me a lot longer. But I still think it turned out looking quite cute. I hope you lot like it too. And as always, let me know what you think down in the comment section. Give it a like if you enjoyed it, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you again for watching. I hope that you're enjoying the save file. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you next time. Taz out.